skulls out here. I have some of the skulls up in the house. I think like coyotes or something live out here sometimes.
How far back does it go?
So there's got to be like a spring or something.
Coming through, yeah.
Spring, because actually, I was going to tell you this. Jesse James's cousin owned this house. You know, because his mom lived out of Bardstown, right?
I think I've heard that.
And
there's water running out of the cave right now.
right, they used to water their horses down here. And the guy from the Historical Society told me that after Jesse James's cousin moved out, another family lived here. And this girl was down here in the spring getting their water. And a guy came up and asked if he could water his horses. And he thanked her, and he said his name was Jesse James, and she took off running. There was a lady right here in this fireplace. She was, I guess, cooking on it, and her dress caught on fire, and it burned her really bad on her leg. And she was too embarrassed to go to the doctor about it. And eventually she got infection, and she died because of it. And there was Confederate soldiers staying out in the caves behind our house. And they offered, since it was cold and it was winter, for her wake, they would take turns staying up with the body if they could come in and stay warm. Slowly but surely. I guess down in these caves is where those Confederate soldiers were camped out. Chilling out here.
Yeah.
At least you don't want to be in the cave when it starts raining.
I always laugh when people think they're part of the South. They're not South at all. I mean, they are South for us.
This water comes from?
Yeah.
So this house was built in about 1770, I think. This room and the one right over there was the original part of the house, and then the kitchen, the bathroom, and the upstairs was all added on. But this is the original cabinet. This is the original fireplace. It's like blocked off now. But this used to be how they'd cook all the meals and heat the house and everything. But a historian came and knocked on the door probably about a month ago, and he was probably in his, I want to say like late 70s, and he was like, he knocked on the door and he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found this house. He used to play, I guess, softball here when he was in like a teenager or his early 20s. He was like, you guys don't even know where you live, and he proceeded to explain some of the history of the house to us. But he looked around the yard and he was like, oh, I remember being out here, and this house wasn't here, and this wasn't here, this, that, and the other. But over this way, there's a little valley, and there's a creek, and there's a small cave, and there's a spring that feeds in right to the cave. He said, back in the day, I don't remember exactly when, but he said one of the young girls that lived here was down there just drawing some water for the house, and this man came up with his horse and asked if he could get some water for his horse. He was like, yeah, sure. He let his horse have a long drink, and then he kind of thanked her. He's like, you know, thank you for letting me do that. And by the way, my name is Jesse James. And he stuck out his hand, and she just froze and like dropped her water pail and ran back up to the house and went back down there, and he wasn't there. But he's had a lot of history because his mother lived in town just a few miles from here, so he was always in the area, and he was drinking at the Talon Tavern a lot. So he passed through here. And there's also a lot of native history with the cave and the spring being down there. There's a lot of that. But right in here, Confederate soldiers stayed in here during the Civil War. This was like kind of a little shelter for them. They stayed here and in the cave. I'm having deja vu a little bit. Is that normal?
Like what?
I don't know.
Like what? Explain.
I don't know. I just feel like I dreamt that I was doing this one time or something.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Really.
Like you felt like
I don't know.
you've
It's
done
just,
this
it was,
before.
Yeah, it just was faint, but I don't.
Yeah, that's like
it
a
just,
deja vu.
Really?
Huh.
That's kind of
It
weird.
was just this thing. It looks like kind of an older cell phone. I don't know. It just happened really quick. I was like,
Yeah. That's usually how the deja vu is. It's real fast.
Yeah, anything you guys experience, talk about it.
No, I had that earlier. I just didn't say anything.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, like
Yeah,
what?
explain yours now.
It was with you and Madeline coming back from the living room after giving interviews to the front, into the
Oh.
kitchen where I was sitting.
Huh.
Is that attributed to the...
It's been happening a lot this trip for some reason.
Well, really, this trip even.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, coach it.
It's actually been a while since we've had anything off of this.
Whoa!
Yeah, coach
It
it.
just went 1.4.
It did?
Dead serious. I swear.
It's kind of just like spikes.
It was 100% sure. Yeah, it definitely just did that.
That's me.
For a fact, it just did that.
Well, look at the temperature. We're up to 79 now.
Moving. That's me.
0.2. And it just went away. Is there some... Oh, 2.4.
Whoa.
Is there somebody here with me?
We've had a lot of experiences here with paranormal things. For instance, in this room, my mother was sitting on the couch right over here one day, and no one was in the house, and she woke up because she smelled cigar smoke. It was so strong it filled the room, and she looked up to turn around and be like, "You guys know we don't smoke in the house," but there was no one here. And she was so scared that I found her at the kitchen table when I got home a few hours later, basically just like this, like waiting to tell someone, "You'll never know what happened. Oh my gosh, it was so strong." And you came in, you could smell like a faint cigar smoke, and we haven't smoked in this house since we've been here, so it was just kind of weird.
I was sitting there, I went to go sit down. As soon as I sat down, there was an ashtray right in the middle of the chair, and I'd been sitting there earlier. It had been in the garage.
Yeah.
It wasn't out on the table earlier or nothing. We didn't have an ashtray.
We were sitting
Did you guys go
across
in
from
the
each other.
garage?
Yeah, it was
No, we
just a
don't-
wooden
we
ashtray
don't.
we had on the bar in the garage. And I sat down, like, what the hell? And it was an ashtray, and I was like,
Yeah, it was
Just
the same
sitting
two
in the
chairs
chair.
we were sitting in earlier, and
Yeah.
I was like,
my butt takes up the entire chair, and it wasn't there earlier.
Yeah.
it's kind
Well,
of
that
weird.
is weird.
It
How
was
about
weird.
your cigars? They have shown
They
up
were-
yet?
Well, they were in the chair outside, but like, before I even got up, I looked on the table and in the chair first thing, because I was like, and I didn't see them. Like,
What's funny, it's an ashtray and cigars.
yeah, but they were right in the chair. But the very first thing when I got up, I turned on my light and I looked in the chair and I looked on the table, and I was like, I guess they got to be inside. Like,
I know, I sat down.
it was kind of weird. Little boy up here. Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yes.
it said yes. Little boy up here. Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yes.
it said yes.
Are you an older woman?
Oh,
No.
no,
Yeah, I heard no.
I heard no.
Did you scare Eric?
Yeah. In this room, did you scare Eric?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that was very clear.